Welcome to the first annual Qualico Mixed Doubles Classic, brought to you from the Bow Valley in beautiful Alberta, Canada. Our host venues are the Banff Curling Club in the iconic Banff National Park, and the Canmore Golf and Curling Club in the gateway to the Canadian Rockies. The event is proudly sponsored by Qualico. We create what we believe in. The Malcolm. Experience Canmore's crown jewel. Vision Electronics. Your best price. And Bow Valley Credit Union. Growing together. The Qualico Mixed Doubles Classic. Up next. Welcome everybody to the Banff Curling Club, where we've got draw 2 of the Qualico Mixed Doubles Classic underway. Teams have just started with the first rock. We're on the second rock of each game. Today we're featuring in this draw the team of Jenny Perret and Martin Rios, who were the Olympic silver medalists and were the 2017 World Mixed Doubles Champions, against Kirsten, Silcox and Jason Keerak, who play mixed doubles out of Cochrane and live and play curling out of Calgary. A local team that's here. Great to have them up. Should be a fun game against the defending silver medalists and former world champions, and it should be a great opportunity for our Perret and Rios to get a game under their belt and get used to the facility and the ice. So welcome to our second draw, and we wish good curling to all the teams, and we will update you on the other games that are going on. We do have Just Wills playing Anderson Dropkin on sheet 4. We do have the local team of Drever and Bernie playing against Schneider and Burchard on sheet 2. And on sheet 1 we have Good and Day playing against Siegwaldson and McMillan. So welcome again, Banff Curling Club. We'll be back with you shortly and begin commentating on the game. After the warm-up, each team each player on each team throws a last stone draw to determine who has hammer. In our game, Perret and Rio, have that privilege here, and Keerak and Silcox obviously through first. It is an 8-end game, but they do not have to complete all 8 ends if they don't wish to. We do set up the house using position 2 in this event. Position 2 is 4.5 feet in front. We've got our coin rocks are placed out front of that, and then the other stone is placed at the back end of the 4. At the beginning of each end, we have one player throwing the first and 5th stone, and we have the other player throwing the 3 middle stones. Here's Rios throwing a shot down. As we look at the house, we have blue surrounding the button at this point. He's trying to put another one in there. Looks like a good one, but he is sweeping hard. Come up a bit short, but it'll be a nice blocker, and it'll be hard for Silcox and Keerak to get in there. But certainly with some yellow rocks up front, they have things to play with, or they can draw around. We saw in the first draw today lots of movement with our rocks. Rocks that were coming around guards that were out past 5 feet out front were actually over curling and coming out the other side. So tight guards are going to be necessary to protect what's in the house. Long guards will certainly doesn't make it easy to get around and get at things, but certainly there's more opportunity with the swing we've had so far on the ice. Somewhere between 5.5, 5 3/4 feet is what we saw in the morning draw, and we'll get a bit of a read, and we'll have Kevin Beauchamp come and join us here and talk a bit about the ice in a few ends. So it looks like Keerak's choosing to play in. Raising his own stone in. There's certainly a number of blue stones making a wall. If he can hit this right, he could get his shot into good position. It seems to be a good rock. He's on sweeping. Let's see if he's got the right angle. Here it comes back in. Really good try. Really good try. Now let's see what Rios and Perret elect to do. They do have hammer. They're counting 3, so they're certainly in a good position here. But with yellow rocks up front and the swing we've had, certainly yellow can still get in there. So it looks like Rios and Perret feel that they can come around that guard and get into the 4-foot to get a 4th counter. Certainly this early end they're getting aggressive, and why not? Might as well try and get a good early lead with hammer, and if they feel they've picked up on the ice, the team that usually does that first certainly can get an advantage. So it's still hanging out there, but here comes the curl. He's certainly into the 4-foot. Let's see what his weight's like, if he's left a little bit of room. Great throw. Basically just T-line weight. Certainly Silcox and Keerak have 2 choices. They could follow that down and try and get a little bit of an inside rub, maybe cut them down to 3, or they could do another raise in and or come through the opening. So a few choices here for them, and certainly with all the rocks in the house, there's a good chance if they get through any port or knock a rock back that it will make contact with something. But it does seem they're going to throw a bit of a back rings or hack type weight through this hole and try and move the blues around and maybe even sneak through to the back button one and even sit one. So we'll keep our eye out, see what Kirsten's going to do. All right, rock's underway. Clean release. She's sweeping, so certainly, off. It's always a good sign when you're sweeping and not sweeping. So she's moving over, certainly trying to make the rock curl a bit. Let's see if she's got the right angle. If she does, let's see where this is going to end up. It looks really good. And look at that. Actually a great outcome, even though it didn't quite make it through the port to make contact with the one on the button. She is sitting really nice in there in second shot. So it certainly cut them down to 1. And they now have a draw. We saw from Rios's last shot that there is enough curl to get around this outside guard and still get it into the button. So with the right weight and following that same path that Rios just threw, Perret should be able to put this rock in for second shot. No easy shot, but it's certainly there for them. And obviously a team of this caliber, these are shots they expect to make. So let's see, it's first end. Let's see what she has for touch here on her last rock of the end here. So Martin's on it, trying to hold it out there. Now he's off. It seems to have enough weight. Let's see if it's going to make the full curl. Can take advantage of rubbing off that outside blue if it comes over enough. Oh, it is really close, but I don't think it's there. I think it's just one blue, and the tap seems to indicate the same. So mission accomplished in getting their points. Certainly set up to take multiple, but a great last shot there by Kirsten Silcox. Narrowed that down, made it difficult for Perret and Rios to get their deuce, and as a result, we have a 1-0 score at the end of the first end. Just going to take a moment now and say thank you to our sponsors. An event like this isn't possible without them. We have Qualico, who's our major sponsor. Our bronze sponsors, the Malcolm Hotel, which is in Canmore, Visions Electronics, and Bow Valley Credit Union, plus as many other curling and local sponsors has contributed to making this event happen. And we're very thankful to all of them, and we're pleased that they'll be joining us throughout the event to come and watch and take part, and we thank them for all the various contributions. So first to throw is Perrin and Rios after taking one in the first end, and Silcox and Keerak will have hammer on the and going into the second end. Just looking over on sheet 4, playing just to the right of us, so we get to see a lot of it in our live stream here. We see that Anderson and Dropkin took one and lead that event going into the second end. Well, great shot here by Jenny Perret. She's on perfect weight just to the button. It curled out to the outside. Like we said, we're getting a lot of curl. It's great to see, and it leads to a lot of offensive play. As you can see from where the Broom's placed, we're 2 inches inside the outside 12 to freeze down on the button. So, as we say, almost 6 feet of curl, which is great for the curlers. It lets them really use their skill to place their rocks. So Kirsten is centers away. Looks like Jason's out there to give her a hand. It certainly has a really good tracking. If they get it by this top one, which I think they will, it's now going to come down really nice. She's got a great shot. And there we go. That's how it's done. It pushed the other one out, so now they're lying 2. Certainly putting a little pressure on the defending Olympic silver medalists, Perret and Rios. Looks like they'll come now the other side and try and get on top of that yellow one. Try and hopefully move it back a little bit, because rocks behind the tee line are a benefit to the other team because they can be used as blockers. So certainly if they can tap the yellow one back a bit and sit on top, it'll be difficult to get it out. So here comes Martin. He doesn't waste much time. He's right out and he's thrown and he's right up and he's ready to sweep. So he's sweeping against the grain, as we can see, so he's obviously trying to hold it. I feel like they have a good one. He's on it now. Now he's off, but it's coming in really nice. Just needs to slow down a little bit. Well, it served the purpose of moving the yellow one back behind the tee line and out of the 4-foot, so it leaves Martin and Perot sitting one, but it's exposed, and there's certainly a good chance here for Jason with his next rock to push that blue one back and maybe even get a little bit of a roll under cover and be in a great position with hammer in the early part of this end. Shot here. It's a bit up on the weight, but it's trying to curl in. If nonetheless, it'll make contact and push it through. Really nice shot. So certainly it's still exposed, but it's a great throw in order to move that blue back out and put the yellow just biting top 4, which is a great placement. Looks like Perrin and Rio are going to choose to come from the other side and get in. If they can get on top of that yellow one, it'll be very difficult for Silcox and Keerak to get more than one. They will have that yellow on the top left there that they can advance into a rock to get it out, but with 2 yellows on the right side, certainly the jam possibility is always present. So it's away. He must like it. He's on and off again, which is really a good sign on weight. Jenny isn't yelling online yet, but here they go. It's starting to come down. They need to make it move to get there. They've got a really good line, but he might have left it just a little long on the sweep for weight. Well, although it came up short of where they wanted, it's a great shot because it's in scoring position. It's something they can advance back into the other rocks, and it will act as a guard with a bit of an overlap. So certainly a good placement with all that backing in front of them. So Keerak and Silcox need to be a little bit careful in how they play this. It looks like they want to try and push it back through, which isn't a bad idea, or even open up the front. So we'll wait and see what they're going to do. In the meantime, a little bit of an update as we look over to sheet 1, where we have first end over, and Sigvildson and McMillan managed to take their one. When we go over to sheet 2, they haven't marked the score up yet, so can't quite bring you an update. And on sheet 4, they're still playing the second end, and Anderson and Dropkin are up 1-0. So it looks like Jason is going to throw down and try and move his yellow back. It'll leave Martin a chance on his next stone to advance the blue, but this is certainly a good opportunity to try and bump yellow straight back and sit a couple. Looks like it's going to overcurl, but it might actually work out in their favor if it does move the blue over a bit. So really not a bad result. It makes the angling of that blue one back not as easy, and does set up a bit of a double stagger for the black-yellow one. So Martin's looking at the straight run back on his top blue. Jenny seems to be wanting to draw in and either take off the wick of the blue or go straight through that hole onto the back yellow. Looks like Jenny will prevail in this one, and we're going to get the draw. I think a really good strategy here, because even if you push the blue out of the way and expose the yellow and roll into the other yellows, you should be sitting second shot. And if you throw a great shot, it's going to be difficult for Kkeok and Silcox to get it out of there. So not a big opening, but if Martin can put his rock through there, it certainly will put them in an advantage state here in the second end, as they lead currently 1-0. So looks like might be a change. They might be trying to rub it in from the outside because this rock is heavy and staying outside. He might inch it over and in, and no, but still hits the back one. But it almost adds extra coverage for the next shots, because that's good backing for Silcox and Keerak. In fact, they have a chance to nose this blue straight back and to sit 4 with only 1 stone each to come afterwards. So a really big shot here for Jason. If he can make this double, he'll be sitting in really good stop. He'll also be blocking the paths to the button, and so it'll be difficult for Perrin and Rios to get in there. And they may have to just try and cut the end down to minimize the damage. Still, the rocks haven't been thrown, so nothing's settled yet. The shot has to be made to put the pressure on, and Jason is settling down in the hack, and let's see what he can do here. A great opportunity to put some heavy pressure on the defending silver medalists. Starting to come now. Looks like he's got a really good shot. Looks like he really likes it. Did they get the angle right? Just a little bit off, but that's okay. They're still sitting the shot. Things are pretty well covered. And again, a yellow rock advanced into that blue will leave a bundle for yellow. So again, Martin Rios and Jenny Perret have to be careful in what they choose here. Well, they're certainly looking at the different options. Hit, try and throw a soft shot down that rubs off. The hit looks like a good option in terms of it removes some of the danger and covers that button, so it may be able to negate them down to only a 1. The difficulty is if you leave a shot for 3 or 4, can easily be made and put you down early in the game. So they're certainly contemplating a lot of different options here. Seem to tap the edge of the 8-foot, which would lead me to believe she's throwing a not a hit, but a hack maybe shot that's going to come off that top yellow one and maybe bunt the other yellow one and sit there. And They won't be sitting shot rock, but there'll be a good chance of minimizing it down to 2. If she throws it perfect, there is that hole that she can get around that blue guard and right through the hole and back to the black one, and they can actually be sitting 2 if she throws the perfect shot. So it's away, and Martin right on it out of the hand. Jenny's following behind, calling line. Martin's working hard on it. Looks like he's slowing down a little bit. Here it comes. It's got to work a little more over. And it does, and it does bump the yellow one back, but not into second shot. So our situation right now, with the last rock to come, Kirsten Silcox will be throwing it. Her and Jason are sitting 1. They do have a chance, if there's a way of getting rid of that blue one, to count 4 in this end. And the blue one should pass behind the yellow, even if they hit it on the nose. So there's a great opportunity here to try and hit the yellow into blue, or they could just tap their own yellow one back and try and get 2. They're debating the different options, but it looks like they're going to try and just hit this yellow one, and really anything on the outside should remove the blue and leave them for a good scout for 4. So a great opportunity here to put some pressure on and take advantage of the miss by Jenny Perret there on her last shot. And so it looks like they're not going to throw it too heavy with that type of ice, but certainly with the curl, they don't want to throw it too light. But any contact on the outside of this yellow should give them a minimum of 2 and a chance to possibly even get 4. So Kirsten's into the hack, and she's ready to deliver. We've got a great view from behind the sheet here, so we can watch this come down. She was right on the broom in her release, so it's really a matter of weight. And now she's on it. She's sweeping hard. He's yelling hard, really hard on it. Here it comes. Here it comes. She's holding it. Did she hold it enough? Did she hold it enough? No, it didn't hold it enough, but she might have got in there for second shot. They're taking a peek at it. I think they've conceded the 1 for sure. And now it's a matter of whether they want to measure or if one team feels strongly that the other one's in play. So we're just waiting for the moment. Looks like they're going to measure. So it looks like we're going to have a measure for the second point. In the far corner. Hello, I just want to give a quick shout out here. One of our viewers with us is from Brazil. So a big shout out to Fatima Rodriguez, who's from Brazil. And I hope, Fatima, that later on you'll have a chance to watch. We do have a Brazilian team playing here, and they'll be hopefully in one of our future broadcasts. We'll get back to you on if they are and what time they're playing. But thank you very much for watching, and I hope you're enjoying the curling today. So we've had a listener who's asked us who else is playing. So on sheet number 1, we have Anderson and Dropkin playing against Justin Wills. Sorry, that's on sheet number 4. On sheet number 3, our feature match, we have Perret and Rios against Silcox and Keerak. On sheet number 2, we have Drever and Bernie. They're a local team out of Canmore, and they're up against Burchard and Schneider, certainly a favorite in this event. and we'll feature them in a future game, and we'll have a chance to talk a little bit more about them. On sheet number 1, we have Good and Guy playing against Sigvaldsson and McMillan. So those are our 3 games. The only updates we have still on sheet 1, that Sigvaldsson and McMillan are up 1. We're just waiting for them to post their next score. On sheet number 4, we have Anderson and Dropkin, who took 1 in the first end. They stole 2 in the second. They are playing the third, up 3-0. And in our feature game here, we have Silcox and Keerak, who we're not sure if they scored 1 or 2, but they certainly at least scored 1 to tie the game, and it appears that they did get their deuce. So great shot at the end of the end there by Kirsten Silcox. I know they had hoped to hit a bit more on the outside and move that blue for a few more, but they did get the job done, at least getting their two there, and go up 2-1 in our feature game. And we have Kirsten now delivering her first stone of the end. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it. So Kirsten's draw coming up just a little bit short, still getting into the biting of the top 12. So they have 2 real centerline rocks that they can use to apply pressure. Martin and Jenny, Jenny's first throw, choosing to come around and try and sit 2 and put the pressure rate back on by taking advantage of those center guards and setting up a strong end. So it's all down to weight here. The line's really good. It looks like it'll get by the second yellow guard. No, it doesn't. It just rubs off it. So a little light on the weight, and that caused it to over curl. So it's left exposed to be played, or in Jason's first shot, he can elect to draw around and try and freeze. And even though it's often tempting to hit those open ones, certainly in this game, if you can get one locked behind those guards on that back one, it's really hard to score multiples, and does set you up for a chance to steal. So looks like that's what Jason's going to do. They're going to ignore hitting that top blue one. Top blue one is a dangerous rock still, though, because Martin Rios and Jenny Perret can use that to advance it back into an exposed yellow rock, or back into count second shots. So Jason's let it go. He's not sweeping it, so he must like the weight. Starting to curl now, and he's jumped on it. Watch this one go towards the house. He's by the top guard. It's certainly curling hard towards the guard in the top of the house. Looks like a little bit light, so it's not going to quite make it around and in. So they do have some rocks open to play with, but it looks like Martin and Jenny are going to continue to apply the pressure, and they're going to try and come around the guard. So for our viewers who can't quite see to the other end, it's not always that easy because we're just showing the house and the distance away. You can't see it. We do have that top biter yellow guard, and now we have 2 other yellow guards staggered in front of it, providing great protection down that center line. So Martin's got it way out, almost out to the edge of the 12-foot for his draw. He must like it because he's not sweeping yet. It does break a bit late if he has the right weight, and here it comes. So it seems to be coming in there nicely. It just depends. If he's a little heavy, it could slide back and leave a pocket for Silcox and Keerak. Really good throw. There was a lot of room that they had to get around that guard, so certainly plenty of opportunity for Jason on his next shot to draw around on top of that. Hopefully bump it back a little bit. That would give him a wall behind and leave him sitting shot. So a great opportunity here for Jason to turn this around from Martin and Rios sitting 3 to their team sitting 1 with some backing. For those who didn't join us at the top of the beginning of the game, Kuryakyn and Silcox are a local team who play mixed doubles at a Cochrane. They're out of Calgary and do curl as well in Calgary, but their mixed double play is at the Cochrane Club, and the local team is looking to gain some experience, but also who've played and who are excited to test their skills out here against the world's best. And certainly in this opening game, that's who they're up against, the Olympic silver medalists and 2017 world champions in Rios and Perret. They got their hands filled, but certainly they're holding their own right now. Just a little heavy, I'd say, there, and unfortunately not quite the shot they wanted. It did advance the blue a little deeper under cover, so that is helped out Rios and Perret, who now have a great chance to put a rock here up. I would say they don't want this any deeper than biting the top 4, and it'll be really hard for Silcox and Keerak to get in there. So certainly Rios and Perret are setting up a great end here for themselves, but they just don't want to take this too deep. Of course, you don't want to leave it light and have it overcurl and not help you at all, but the miss here would be anything light because it provides blockage on that side, and they already have a top 12 rock blocking the other side. He's way off it, so it looks like he might be a little heavier than he'd want. And Jenny Perret doing the right thing to try and sweep it back and get it by, so it doesn't bounce out and leave a possible double. So not what they were looking for. Still, one more in the ring. They're lying 4. Certainly putting the pressure on. Looks like Keerak and Silcox are going to change their strategy. Looks like they're contemplating the hit to try and remove a number of the blues. So we'll wait and see what happens here. Sweeping it hard, really good looking shot here, and was able to remove one and open up that whole side to be able to get in. Still though, sitting 3 with 2 rocks to go for Perret and Rios. They're in a really good shot, a really good spot. They have a chance now here to draw one right in. I don't think he's going to want to come much deeper than the top biting top 4, because he certainly doesn't want to go deep and leave them an out by drawing down into it. Silcox and Keerak are going to have a chance to see this stone, know the path, and know the weight. So we'll wait and see what they can do here. But certainly sitting really good here for Rios and Perret as we near the end of this 3rd end. So here comes the rock. It's making its way to the house. It's bending. It's bending. It's bending. We're seeing great curl. That has gone all the way in behind the guard, and it's sitting on top of the button. There is an opening. As we saw that rock curl over 6 feet to get to its resting spot. The perfect shot here, coming from the right side, could draw onto the back one, and I don't think Perot and them could get it out. They are looking at some other options, and it isn't wrong to come down the left side, try and move the blue one back through and leave themselves some backing, possibly cut them down to 1. Either way, they're going to have to make a really good shot on Kirsten's last shot here. Looks like they're opting to come down on the left side and try and push that blue rock back through and sit there. So it'll be difficult for Perret and Rios to get it out. Maybe cut them down to only 2. Kirsten's down, getting ready to throw a shot. As we said, they're going to come around and draw around, try and just push that outside blue one, well, outside, I guess, just a foot off the center line, push it back through the 4 foot and sit there, hoping to maybe get second shot, but at least make it very difficult for Rios and Perret to get their to get a multiple in this end. They must like it. The weight looks good. It's not been overthrown. She's not sweeping yet. She's now turned to the outside to try and scrub it over to make it move. She's off it now. They're hoping it to curl onto the inside of it. They need to get enough of it so that it moves it through and sits 3rd. And I believe they've done just that. It is close, but I would think from the overhead angle we have here that yellow is sitting 3rd. And it looks like Martin and Rios, I guess professionals they are choosing not to try and play with that yellow rock to get greedy and try and get to the inside or maybe get a big. It looks like they're just going to try and draw around to guarantee 3, and maybe it is 4. So here we go. Jenny is set in the hack. She's ready to throw. Just needs full 4 or half of 4 it looks like, and she can certainly get. They know this path. Martin just threw it, and he threw it beautifully right down onto the button, so they should know it. Martin's really scrubbing this one hard, though. I don't know if they're light. Jenny's coming up. Looks like she might offer the help because they need it. Looks like they've got the line. They're on the 4-foot. It's just whether she's got the weight, and it does seem that she's too light. She kicks it away. I'm sure she's not happy with that effort, knowing there was a chance to put the 4-foot to get an extra point. Well, a quick decision. So I would suggest to you that they're only going to get away with 2 there. So I would say that Jason and Kirsten, a great last shot to force that that draw, and that's wonderful. So as we head into our 4th end, looks like we have a 1-point game with Perret and Rios being up. But before we get into our 4th end and the start of it, as I set the rocks up, we want to introduce you to today's matchup. As we said, we have Martin Rios and Jenny Perret. They curl out of Glarus in Switzerland. They were the 2017 World Mixed Doubles Champion, and they were the runners-up at the 2018 Olympics, losing to Canada's Caitlin Laws and John Morris in the gold medal game. When we look at Kirsten Silcox and Jason Keerak, who, as we said, playing out of Cochrane in their mixed doubles, living in Calgary, a local team that's here with us. They have been curling a number of years and a lot of club play, and out here for some experience, and certainly playing well, and are in this game against Rios and Perret, just down 1, playing the 4th end, and they are in fact in control of the even ends, which, as we know, is an important factor, because if you can keep that going, it does give you the chance in the 8th end to hold the last rock and hopefully win the game. As we just saw there, Jenny Perret throwing in a marvelous shot right down, just slightly bumping the back yellow out of the 4-foot and sitting on top. So a wonderful start to the end for them. And let's see how Kirsten Silcox responds. We finally have some scores been put up on sheet number 2, where we have the locals of Drever and Bernie playing against Schneider and Burchard. And it looks like in the first end, Schneider and Burchard took 1, and Drever and Bernie answered right back with 2 in the second end. So after 2 ends, they're up 2-1. We are waiting for them to post the 3rd score. We do know that Burchard and Schneider scored in that end just by virtue of them throwing the first stone, but we don't know what they scored. So we'll bring you that update as soon as we get it. Over on sheet 4 in the 3rd end, Justin Wills are finally on the board. They scored a single, so that is 3-1 for Anderson and Dropkin, and they have last rock. And over on sheet 1, Sigvaldsson and McMillan stole 2 in the second end to go up 3-0, and Goodenday have responded with 1 in the 3rd to be on the board. So a 3-1 game there with Sigvaldsson and McMillan leading. So as we said, we believe our game is 3-2, with 2 points being had by Perret and Rios in the 3rd end, but we haven't posted that because they haven't posted it. We always wait for the players to tell us. Last thing we want to do is bring you any misinformation, so we will wait for them to post it, but we are assuming it is a 3-1 lead for Perret and Rios, and Silcox and Keerak have the hammer. As we were mentioning before, and as you can see here, we're getting a good 6 feet of curl on the ice, which is great for the curlers. It allows them to play a lot of wonderful shots. They can play a little bit of weight and still come around rocks and remove others, and they can certainly draw, and it creates a very offensive game. So as we sit right now, Rios and Perret have 2 in the back of the 4, while they're sitting 2 and appearing in good shape. Both of those are behind the tee line, giving an excellent opportunity here for Silcox and Kirsten to put something up in the top 4 on the button. It'll be really hard for Rios and Perret to get it out with that wall behind it. So Jason's let it go. He's on the broom from where we can see from behind the sheet. We get a great vantage. Love when they come down this side of the ice because we're right behind watching them. And here it comes. Look at that rock start to curl. The weight looks really good weight. We just need to come over a little more, and it seems to be coming. He's trying to get right on top. Just a slight kiss and a freeze, and there it is. An absolutely great shot. So they're sitting now the one, but they certainly have the third rock in play on the left side. Looks like Perret and Rios are going to come the other way and try and get around the center and sit right on top of that yellow one. They can get shot rock coming this way, and certainly make it difficult for Silcox and Kkeok to score, because that scoring area is getting quite small. And as curlers will know, we usually with last rock want to keep that scoring area quite large. But mixed doubles, it's a hard thing to do because you start with the center line guard, and you're not allowed to remove any stones until the fourth rock being thrown. So it does, with 2 stationary rocks and 3 rocks being thrown, you're usually guaranteed to have 5 rocks in play before one can be removed. And by that time, it's usually too late to consider that in strategy, and you don't see a lot of hits. So Martin has got a great shot coming in here. Look at that finish, absolutely perfect freeze. May not be shot rock, but he certainly doesn't have to do much to put himself into shot rock there. So now we're looking at Jason's throw. Not sure what he's thinking of doing. He looked at coming in the one way, maybe playing off his own yellow. Now looking at maybe playing the blue straight back. We'll wait a moment to see what the final shot is, where they put down the broom. But certainly a lot of options are still available, and a lot of rocks still to come. But that button and 4-foot are certainly crowded, and with that blue rock in front of the tee line with lots of backing, they're certainly looking really good right now, Perrin and Rios, for a potential steal. Try and draw down. I would assume to get at least a little bump on that blue one to unlock it from the yellow stone, but they're certainly trying to throw one down on top, which is a good strategy to get one in position. It certainly caps off, makes it harder for Rios and Perret to advance theirs, and also means that the yellow one's next in line to be advanced on the next shot. So we're watching it comes down. Looks like they might be doing a bit of an audible to come off the back yellow. Nope, they're staying with the shot. And didn't work out too bad. It certainly does leave blue sitting 2 and in a good position, but those yellow rocks are very usable to come in off them and get at the blue from the side and get those out. So certainly some options still for Silcox and Keerak, but Rios is about to throw his rock, and if he can meld another one on top coming around that center, it's certainly going to make it difficult. But Jenny seems to be suggesting maybe get rid of the 2 yellows and roll in, which is a good call in the sense that you do get rid of some dangerous rocks, but the really aggressive play would be to draw down on top of that blue. It looks like they're going to settle for a double, get an inside roll off the top yellow and get rid of a couple of those, and would leave them sitting 4 and certainly in a great position. So the rock's been let go. Martin's not really looking to sweep it, and looks like they're liking it. And there it is. What a great triple shot and a tremendous roll right in onto the button. Those are staggered well, and there's that blue rock guarding it all. So certainly a great position for Rios and Perret here in the 4th end. Down 1, but looking really solid. We say down 1. We certainly believe after the 3rd end they're up 1. So we'll wait and see when they finally post the score. Looks like Keerak and Wilson are wanting to make a play on that top blue one. Now whether they'll come at it on its own or whether they'll try and run that top guard back, we're not sure. But certainly they've got to make some room there so that Kirsten has on her last rock an opportunity. Looks like the decision's going to be to draw down on top of that blue one and at least move one out and then sit on top so they can use it in the next shot. Certainly with that wall, as long as the rock stays out in front, it'll be hard for Martin and Jenny to make a play on it. They could certainly guard it, or they could just come down and freeze on the inside. But right now, let's wait and see what Jason chooses or actually does with his shot. Looks like he's trying to draw down on top of that blue one. And he's off. Let's see. He's let it go. He's on the broom from what we can tell from behind. His weight's going to be really important. Looks like it could be a bit heavy, which is okay because it's okay if he bumps into these rocks a bit. Look at it really cut over. We're getting some great movement here. And that's a really good shot. That is a great shot. It looks like Rios and Perret are still sitting 2, but that yellow rock is very usable and certainly really dangerous for Rios and Perret to leave there because it can be advanced. Looks like Jenny Those wants to come in and get a third rock right in on top. Well, if they do come that way, then it will leave that yellow rock exposed for use to try and score their point, or at least if they can't, get rid of one of those blues and only give up the steal of 1. Does look like they're going to come down this left side and try and draw another one in on top of those blues. In one way, that would remove the chance for Keerak and Silcox to use that right side to do the same and draw down with a perfect draw. But I still think the shot Silcox and Keerak would be looking at is to bump that yellow back. They may not get one, but they would certainly cut it down to 2. Oh, it looks like they've changed. Looks like they're coming down this side. So Jenny certainly getting that rock started outside the 12-foot, so it's certainly not a rock they're trying to get in the house. I think they're trying to block this side up so that that rock can't be used. Martin's going really hard to make sure it's over, and I think it's comfortably over. Now they just want it to stop. But they do want it to curl a little more so that they take away that shot on the yellow, and it looks like Jenny has got another great shot. Really great shot. So that really blocks off the shot that they wanted to play, Silcox and Keerak. And it looks like they're going to have 2 options, to advance the blue one in or to try and just cold draw down and cut them down to 1. I don't think the ability to get one is really there, except for an absolutely perfect shot. But they can certainly cut Perret and Rios down to 1 by throwing one into the T-line weight here. So it looks to be the shot they want to play. Kirsten's head down. While we wait for Kirsten to throw her shot, just an update on sheet number 2. In the third end, Schneider and Burchard managed to take 3. So they're now up 4-2, playing 4. And we've got Drever and Bernie who are throwing their last rock. They're facing a number of stones in the house. So it could be a steal here by Burchard and Schneider. We'll wait to see what comes out of it. Meanwhile, over on sheet 4, we are still 3-1 for Anderson and Dropkin. Here comes Kirsten's shot. She's sweeping on it. Looks really good. It's starting to break now. It's going to really come down to her weight. Her weight does look good. Doesn't want to bump really much at all. What a great throw. Don't want it to bump too much. Oh, what a great attempt. I think it just slid a little bit far, and I think blue will steal the 1. But that was a tremendous shot by Kirsten. She was facing a number, and it was not easy to go down. So great throw by her to cut them down to 1. And I believe, if they'll mark the score up, that Perrin and Rios after 4 are now leading 4-2. But certainly Keerak and Silcox are curling well and are in this game. So let's look forward to see what happens here in the second half. So while we get ready here for the 5th end and the scores are being marked up by Martin, we want to just say thank you to all of our sponsors once again. We appreciate their support. Without them, this event can't be possible. So a big shout out again. Qualico, our major sponsor, bronze sponsors, the Malcolm Hotel in Canmore, Visions Electronics, and Bow Valley Credit Union, a number of local sponsors and curling sponsors who are helping to make this just a wonderful event for not just our committee, but for the entire curling competitors that have come out here to play. And what a field we have with all the Olympians from 2018. We've got many national champions. We've got a lot of top Canadian teams and certainly some local teams out trying to enjoy this game, but also gain some tremendous experience. So the scores are up. We were right. It is a 4-2 game after 4 ends with Perret and Rios with a two-point lead. But as we've seen, Silcox and Keerak are curling very well, and anything can happen. We've seen 3s and 4s happen throughout the first draw. So we'll wait and see what happens here. Just an update on sheet 4. We have seen that Anderson and Dropkin with hammer in 4 managed to score 3, so that gives them a 6-1 lead playing 5. Justin Wills have called a power play, and that's when we move the rocks out to the outside, and a lot of play goes down the side, a way to generate points, especially when you're down and when you get into later ends. Power plays are used by teams only with the hammer who can call it. So we'll keep an eye on that game as Justin Wills try to get back in it with a power play. Looking over on sheet 2, Burchard and Schneider had a really good end set up, and Drever and Bernie were in tough on their last shot, but they managed to cut them down to only 2. So Burchard and Schneider are leading 6-2 in that game after 4 ends, but Drever and Bernie have the hammer and are looking to strike back. And over on sheet 1, we're still 3-1. We've not seen what happened in sheet 4 yet, but we'll give you an update as soon as we get to there. So here we're back. Martin's throwing his first shot, second shot for Team Perret Rios. Trying to draw in, trying to get down on top of their existing blue. That would give them 2 in the, biting the button with some front cover. We saw in the shot earlier by Silcox and Keerak, they did rub off the center guard. Not much so far this game have we seen the center guard moved off. So here's a chance for us with a little more of an opening to see some shots maybe move away directly from the center line and generate some play to the wings. But first we need to, we'll need to have Silcox and Kkeok have to deal with what's there right now in that center. Those are some dangerous stones. So Jason's going to throw his first stone, which is their second of the end. They do have hammer. And of course they've got their rock sitting on the back of the 4, which is a second shot. And an opportunity to come down and play off the one on the button, maybe roll behind the guard and sit 2. So we'll see what they're going to call though. Taking a bit of time to make this decision. I think the decision is always about weight and how hard you want to throw it to make the shot. Do you want to throw it gently and tap and roll, or do you want to throw more of a hit and roll over? It looks like with that ice, they're going to throw certainly a stronger hit than just backboard weight or more than hack, because the ice is curling, as we've seen so far in this game. If you take outside of 12, that rock should end up pretty well on center line. We're getting a good 6 feet of curl, and it really breaks late if you've got the right weight. So Jason, here he comes out. I'd certainly say that's probably at least an 11, if not a 10 throw. We're waiting for it to curl. It's starting to come now. It's got to get across that center line. Here it goes. He's sweeping to hold it. He's sweeping to hold it. He's just on that front guard, and he missed his own, which could have redirected it in and maybe stayed, but he might still get a biter out of it. And as we know, those biters can always come back into play. So if nothing else, he cleared that top guard, which is always plan B. You don't want to miss it all, so that opens it up. And Rios and Perret, while they're sitting with one on the button and a second one, a bit of a guard, they do have to be careful because a few yellow rocks are piling up in the house here. Looks like from that ice they're going to play a center line guard to try and block up the center again. Or they could be drawing right down to freeze on their own. Didn't see the final call, but certainly something's going to end up around the center line, and something's going to be on top of that top blue. So something that many people may not know about Rios and Perret, that they curled together when they won bronze in the European Mixed Curling Championship in 2014. So not just playing mixed doubles, they've also played mixed four-person mixed curling as well together. So a lot of experience, and you can really tell in the chemistry, as we can see in the lounge, and we saw them in practice, we see them in games. It's a team well in tune with each other, and it certainly shows in the shot calling and the thought process, which is really important, and important for the chemistry. So a great shot there by Martin and Rios to block that up. It does expose, as Jenny was showing, the blue on blue on the outside right here, to remove both of those and sit 3 if Jason wants to take it on. But it looks like they don't. It looks like they want to play the same shot they did, using the education of the line and coming down and pushing that blue one out and possibly rolling over behind the guard or sitting right there. So they're going to play the same shot they did. That blue on blue is there, but certainly if you don't hit it right, it can jam on your back yellow, and that would cause you some grief. So Jason's heading back down. I'm not sure it's because of line or if he's thinking of it differently, and it does look like he instead wants to get rid of that blue one and maybe pick out another blue one in the house and at least open it up, which is certainly a very nice thing for Kirsten, because in the end she'll have to throw that last rock, and certainly having some room to throw it is really important. And when you have hammer, you want to make sure there's a shot near the end. So a good change in call. Going to try and move that front guard and hopefully pick something else out, and that should leave them with 2 left in the house and only 1 blue. And anything can happen as we get near the last stones here in the 5th end. Nice clean release from Jason. That's a well thrown rock. And here it comes. It should come over enough. Yep, he's jumped on it. He's trying to hold it. Let's see where it ends up happening. Just over curled a bit, but he accomplished his main objective, which was to open up that front and expose those 2 blues. It does require Perrin and Rios to throw another guard on top, and if they don't cover it properly, it does leave a chance to double for 3. So they can't underestimate the importance of throwing a really good guard here. But as we've seen this end so far, Rios has thrown a really good guard in his last shot, and they've been pretty well on their game. So he just has to duplicate what he did his last shot. As we can see, he wastes no time. He gets right down and throws, very confident, clean release. And for the most part, it's always on the broom. So he must like this one. He is trying to make it curl. He's trying to get it over to that center line. Well, now he's just guiding it in. Looks like a really good throw. And looks like he's almost replaced it identically. But he has left by almost a nose hit on that blue one in the house with maybe hack weight or even with board weight. I think he can almost curl the nose, but I don't know that he wants to take it on, but it is there. The amount of curl we've seen so far in this morning's draw on the sheet as well as right now, but looks like he doesn't want to take it on. He's going to come at that blue again and try and catch it a little bit more center line side, allowing him to not only remove the guard but get rid of one of the blues in the house and apply a little pressure back on Perret and Rio. Over on sheet number 4 with the power play intact, it's just finished, and Justin Wills took their 1. So they are down 6-2 going into the 6th end, 3 ends left. But certainly in this game, steals are common and big ends are common, so you're never out of these games. But 6-2 lead for Anderson and Dropkin with hammer heading into the 6th end. Oh, wow, look at this shot. What a great shot. A great shot. He not only cleared the center line guard, but his perseverance of playing that same shot and using his knowledge from his last shot, he was able to make the triple. It did jam on his back yellow. Unfortunately, it didn't crawl underneath it and leave him sitting 2, but he is shot rock in the back. And it looks like Jenny Perret is probably just going to want to take that out and lie 2 and force Kirsten to still have to draw full 4 to get her point. Jenny's settled in, looks like a straight hit. I think she'll probably want to roll to force a cold draw by Kirsten. Even rolling out isn't bad because it does give no backing for the straight draw. Looks like a really good shot here. Martin is sweeping hard on it. It looks like it's going to come to nose. Looks like we'll get a straight nose hit. And we do. So our situation here with 1 rock to go. Kirsten Silcox will draw. She'll be able to draw right down on top of that one, use it as backing to get her 1 and make this only a 1-point game. Looks like just taking a peek on these outside biters. As we say, biters often can come back to bite you. But it looks like the yellow, back yellow, would be out counting. So I don't think she's actually drawing down to it. By this ice, I think she's going to try and copy exactly what Perret and Rios did in throwing that controlled hit and come right down to nose on this. She does have the luxury of rolling a good, let's say, 5 feet and still being shot, so it doesn't have to be a perfect nose hit, but certainly she's going to want to make sure she hits this. And she's a little tight. I think she'll need to get on it here. It's going to start to curl hard, and here it goes. Here it goes. Can she maybe even get the rub off the yellow or knock the yellow into the outside blue and at least cut it down? Let's see. Let's see what happens with this. No, unfortunately not. That rock just came out a little inside, and it seemed to really go out of her hand. So with that, blue will take 2, a steal of 2. That'll put Martin and Rios up 6-2 heading into the 6th end, the home coming home here with 3 ends to go. But Silcox and Keerak, who've been playing very well, will have hammer. As we look over to sheet 1 after 4 ends, we don't have a score yet in 5. They're down to their last stone. Sigvaldsson and McMillan took their 1, so they're up 4-1 with our last shot here coming in the 5th end. So we'll have an update for you shortly once they're done. No new updates in the Drever, Bernie, Schneider, Burchard game, but it does look to me like Drever and Bernie. Schneider and Burchard must have stolen a game. They were leading 6-2 because Drever and Bernie have decided to play in the 6th end a power play. Power play is what we're seeing here on our sheet too, where you move the rocks to the side. You've got a guard and you've got a rock in the house. We saw this morning. The defensive play against it is to throw down, try and bump your rock in the house and roll your rock out. The thrown rock can roll out of play. That is not a problem. But what you want to do is get it on the outside so that you don't remove the rock that's guarding, because you're not allowed to remove that to the 4th thrown stone. So executed perfectly. It's exposed that yellow rock. Obviously they would have liked to move that blue a little further over towards the center, but they've opened it up. And now we're going to see Kirsten with her shot try and draw around that blue guard and get a second one in the house, get it under cover. And again, the good thing about the power play is for the team with last rock, they do keep the center open as long as they make their shots, and can really put the pressure out in the wings and try to build up multiples as they do that. The rock's really curling. I think it has enough speed, but it's not going to get by. The good news is it should be an overlapping guard. A little bit of a bump does give some protection back to that yellow. So does give them the guard on top of their yellow, so protects it again, gives them again more protection out on the wing when they want to drive this play, this end. Looks like Rios on his shot with Perret's approval are going to draw around that yellow one and try and get shot rocks. So success by Keerak and Silcox to push the play to the outside rings. But Rios has a chance here to get in for shot rock and put some pressure right back. As you can see, to draw the other side of the house, they're taking edge of 8 foot, so they're looking at this curling a good 6+ feet. Let's see how it comes across here when Rios lets go. Well, from sitting behind the sheet here behind Jenny and watching it, clean release right on the broom. Is looking maybe a bit light the way he jumped right on it to sweep. Seems to be coming fine though, but it really needs to curl if it's going to bury in behind. We have seen a lot of late movement, and I think we're seeing it now. It won't get fully buried, but it should get a little bit behind that guard, as it did. But as we saw with the amount of curl we're getting, they should be able to get at that and move that, if not through the rings, to the back of the house, and even potentially get an inside roll. You can play it awful tight to that guard and actually over curl the shot. Some great movement by our ice makers here, making for a lot of fun and a lot of offensive play. So that's what it looks like we're going to have here. Looks like on Jason's shot, he's going to throw it probably backline weight, try and come around the guard and remove the blue and get a little inside roll. If he can make this shot, it'll certainly put some great pressure onto Perret and Rios. The score's been posted over on sheet 2. Schneider and Burchard managed to steal 2 more and 5. So that puts them up 8-2. But as we said, the power play is on, and they're looking to generate some offense in this end using the power play and hopefully get a multiple score. So rocks come down. Looks like a really good one. He's got good weight. Just skinnies by the guard. And it has enough to remove it and sit right there. So really nicely thrown shot by Jason. Certainly Martin will have no problem getting at this as long as he throws it like he wants to. And even get a little bit of an inside roll, but a nice throw by Jason to remove it. And they're sitting 2 in the house, taking advantage of the power play. And as we said, big part of that is moving the play over to the side of the rings and away from the center line. Again, we see Martin, he takes no time. He gets down, he's very decisive, cleans his rock, gets set, and off he goes. A nice release. Jenny's got him on it right away, though. Oh. He's off. Here he goes. The rock looks a little light. It's starting to curl, but she really likes it. Likes the line. He's off it. Here it goes. Here it goes. Really good throw. Really nice throw. Leaves it exposed, though. Jason has a chance here with his throw to get an inside roll off this and get 2 buried under cover and put a little bit of pressure back onto the Swiss in this 6th end. So looking back over on sheet 1, Sigurdsson and McMillan have stolen again in number 5. So they are now up 5-1 in that game. And we have Good and Guy who are retaining or have hammer in this end and will hopefully try to score multiples. They too put into play the power play. And once again, there's 3 games that have the power play going. And in all 3 games, the strategy that was used was to come down the outside, bump the guard towards the house, and roll out or roll over to the side. Looks like Jason's got a good shot. He does have to catch a little bit more of it, and he doesn't. So, bit of a missed opportunity, but nevertheless, as we said, they've kept the front open, and they've given themselves a really good chance to get a last shot in there to get their point if the end doesn't play the way they want it to. So Rios is going down. This will be his final throw of the end. Looks like they're just trying to draw back in behind cover, take away those guards on the right side, and sit 2. Let's see how he does. So he's right out again. Nice release. No direction from Jenny yet, but Martin seems to be on it for weight. Now he's off, so he seems to like it. On again, off again is usually a good sign in curling when his sweeper's doing that, especially when the skip isn't saying anything for line. But here he goes. He's on it again. He's trying to bury it, trying to get it around. Really good looking weight and shot. Excellent throw. So it looks like he admitted he's not only around the guard and cover, he's negated that yellow one, and he's put himself in his 2nd shot. So 2 shots still to come from Keerak and Silcox, and they're facing 2 here by Perret and Rios who's in the house. So I don't know that the guard is covering enough of the forefoot that you can bury it and be shot here, but certainly if you bury it over there, even if you're not shot, you have to think that Rios and Perret are going to have to come down after it, because if they don't, then they might leave a double and a chance for 2. But I think the shot is still to bury, even if you're not shot. Get a rock and play there so that you make Rios and Perret think about their next shot and how they want to approach it. And it looks like what they're doing with that type of ice, they're certainly trying to bury around and even bury around the blue one in the house. So he's got about 3 feet to work with to be shot if he's going to come around that blue one. So weight's going to be important. But as always, line is 2 with this much curl on the ice. You've got to get it out to that broom. And with the right weight, you can really sink it in behind. Here comes Jason, he's out. Nice release of the rock. Now we'll just watch and see how it comes down. Again, on-off again is always a good sign. He seems to be really on it now. He's going hard. I think he's trying to bend it over, but he's also going for weight, it looks like. I think his weight looks really good, but he's got to bend it over, try and get it in behind some sort of cover. Make the removal of it more difficult for Perret and Rios. There you have it. Successfully accomplished what he wanted, which is getting second shot. But I think Martin and Rios probably just draw down on top of that. If they're short biting 4, that's great. And if they're back onto it, that's still good too. So a real good chance here for Rios and Perret to force Silcox on her last shot to draw full 4 for their point, or make a nifty little hit and roll off the outside one. So the shot called is Jenny's trying to put this down a T-line, I think, probably half in the 4, half in the 8 foot. Not quite behind cover, but not make it a hittable rock. Certainly don't want to leave something where they leave a double on that side, which can be done because a lot of action. The rocks will move across the house, and there's certainly a hole between those 2 yellows to get it through. But here she is. She's out. Jenny's let it go. Absolute clean release again. Martin's right on it, though. Looks like he thinks the weight might need a little bit of help. He's not been off it this whole throw. There he goes. There he goes. Looks like Jenny's got a great shot. They're going to want it to stop up there, though. They don't want it too deep. They don't want to set a potential double up, and I don't think they have. No, absolutely great shot. It's going to force Silcox and Keerak to have to draw right down on top of that. Basically the same shot, which could also hit, but I think the draw is the right shot. It looks like what they're going to call. It's just what weight and what line. Just need to play down onto that one. Again, she can hit and roll towards the center. Has about 4 feet of, well, maybe not, because it'll jam. Maybe 3 feet that she can roll before it might roll too far. So looks like she will. She'll just play a draw down on that blue one. She can't afford to be a bit heavy because she can bump into it. Important shot, though, here. Need to really make this good. So here it is in the 6th end. Kirsten Silcox needing to draw down on top of that blue one to get shot rock. Really important that weight's right. Here it comes. She's on it. She's sweeping hard, is starting to curl as well. Looks like it's losing steam, though. It'll come up just a little bit short. Well, steal of 2 by Rios and Perret. We'll give them 2 more. We believe they scored 2 in 5. We don't know what it is yet. We believe it was 2, so that'll be 2 more. So add 4 to what they're showing up there, and that would put them up 8-2 in this game. Just one last time here, we want to say thank you again to our sponsors, to Qualico, our major sponsor, and our bronze sponsors, the Malcolm Hotel, Vision Electronics, Bow Valley Credit Union. We also have a lot of our local and some curling sponsors who've helped out make this event possible. Without these sponsors, we wouldn't be able to bring you this event, and certainly wouldn't be able to track the field and the competition that we have. So we thank them very much for all of their support. Now we return back to the game. As we thought, it's an 8-2 game. Silcox and Keerak have the hammer, and Perret will start us off on this end. She tries to draw around to sit on top of the yellow rock in the house. Looks like she's going to come from the right side. Well, it looks like they like it. Might be gliding a bit heavy because it's staying out there longer than normal, and Seems to be gliding well. We'll see where it ends up. But there goes Martin. Here it comes. Well, absolute perfect shot. No sweeping needed. Right where you want to place it, just on top of the other one. Looks like Kirsten now will try to come around the other side and duplicate that shot from the left. Try to put one right on top of that blue and try to stagger these rocks and set something up for a big end here. Just an update over on sheet 4. It looks like Just Wills have shaken with Anderson Dropkin. Final score they posted was 9-2. They did play the 7th end and at some point determined that it was over. So one game is over here in Banff. And back to our feature game. A throw down by Kirsten, just a bit heavy. It slides through to the back 12, which again isn't bad. Rocks in play are still good. It's back there. Looks like Rios and Perret are choosing to duplicate Jenny's first shot and try to draw down right on top of that, and of the yellow, and gain back the advantage. It's hanging out a little bit more, but here it comes. Here it comes. It should be a great little shot. So it taps it back. It still leaves yellow sitting shot, but certainly that blue rock on top is in a dangerous position for Keerak and Wilson. Keerak and Silcox, sorry, because a little tap on that and blue sitting 3 quite quickly. Looks like they're going to choose to draw around again though, come back on top of that, of their own yellow one, and keep the pressure on by putting rocks down into the 4-foot button area and give them rocks that they can play with afterwards. No more comments from the... As we come back to our game here, we've got Jason throwing his stone down. Looks like he's trying to remove the centerline guard and open this up. Might get lucky and also pick out some blue. Not to be so, but does remove the dangerous rock for them and leaves them a bit of a guard over on the side of the house. Just want to give a shout out to Gabe Dick, who's listening. I believe he's in Okotoks at the men's junior provincial championship there. Mike Libis and his group from the Okotoks Curling Club are hosting that event. They always put on a great event at Okotoks. I haven't played in any, sorry. I've been down and watched some, and ice is always really good. And good luck to all the junior competitors, both the men's and women's teams that are competing there. And wish you all best of luck. Obviously, only one team that is, can come out victorious, but a lot of great teams are playing. Back to our featured game after Jason removed blue rock of Rios and Perret. Rios and Perret right back removed the yellow to keep it open and clean. Obviously trying not to get a multiple steal, wanting to keep it open, maybe give up one or steal one. Obviously with a big lead like this, don't want a lot of rocks in play and don't want to risk any big ends. So a smart play and a defensive strategy here as we're playing the 7th end. Want to make sure that they keep control of this and not let anything happen. All right, Jason's ready to throw here. As we can see, he's taking about 5.5 feet of ice to come down on this one. The rock's away. He's right up, as often they are in mixed doubles, following the rock down. He's not engaging it, so he must think it might be a little bit heavy. He's also putting the hand out to try and stop it. Here it comes. It does seem to be curling well, though. Here it comes. He's ready. He's trying to freeze down on a corner of that blue one. Doesn't quite work. It's a bit heavy, but it still leaves it in great position. He's moved the blue rock behind the tee line, which is actually an advantage to the last throwing rock because it gives him some blockers. It does, however, set up a potential double here. And I don't think Rios and Perret are going to be worried if in making this they remove any of those back blue stones because they're really only helping Keerak and Silcox later on in the end. So I think you'll probably see 2 yellows and a blue go flying here as Martin gets in quickly to throw this shot. As we said, he wastes no time. So quick clean and out he comes. The attempted double's underway. Staying to the center line. They like it. He's on it. Jenny's calling line. He's on it. He's off. And there we go. As we thought, we'd lose one of the blues, but certainly clears the 2 yellows. Blue still sitting 2. The house wide open. Be interesting to see if Jason's going to draw down and freeze on that black blue one or what he'll choose to do, but it would seem that freezing and using that blue one would be the best way to try and generate a multiple. That seems to be the shot. So Jenny's got the ice called for him, and Jason's on his way down. He's going to try and freeze down on that. Certainly Rios will have the chance to come down and remove it and or use their own blue one, hitting it on the outside to cross over and get rid of the yellow. So a couple options will be available for Perret and Rios to answer this call. But let's watch Jason. First he's got to make it. He wants to meld this right on. He's just thrown this shot, and a few ends ago he threw 2 very similar ones. So should be comfortable and used to this ice and should also know this line pretty well. Shot's underway. Here it comes. It's starting to take off. Starting to take off. Even if it freezes on the top blue one, it's not a bad shot because still be difficult to remove, and it looks like it's going to over curl onto that top one. Bumping it back and creating a bit of a wall. Just goes a bit to the outside. That one really moved. I'm not sure if he started a bit when he let go, but that rock really moved as it came down to the far hog line and just over curled for them. Looks like Rios and Martin, rather than worrying about taking that out, might just be drawing in, but we'll wait to see how Jenny sets up here to figure that out. Nope, looks like I think they're going to throw the hit here, which makes a lot of sense. If you're playing defensive, get rid of the rocks. And with only 1 rock to come from Silcox and Keerak, they don't really need to even stick around. But looks like she's going to get it to the nose and sit right there. So it's going to leave either a hit or it's going to leave a draw down for Kirsten in order to get her 1. Over on sheet 2, where Bertrand and Schneider are playing against our local team of Drever and Bernie, in the power play is on, but in end number 6, Drever and Bernie managed to get there too. So it is 8-4. They are playing 7. If they can steal, they can make it interesting coming home in 8. We'll keep you updated on that game as it goes. So Kirsten's now settled in. Big throw for her here. She's really trying to draw into the 4-foot here. A good release. If she's got the weight, the line should be good out there. That should curl over, but she's on it quick for sweeping for weight. And out comes Jason to help her. I want to take that hard because it's now starting to really curl, which would let me believe it's light. And it is a bit light and will come up just short. So that's going to be 3 more steel. And it looks like we've got shake of hands. So Jason Silcox and Jason Keerak, and Kirsten Silcox played a very good game. They came up short to the defending silver medalists from the Olympics and former 2017 world champions in Perret and Rios. But 7 ends, a lot of good shots. It'll be a comfortable start for Rios and Perret. I'm sure are glad to get their first game under wrap and get a win out of it. You can stay with us here for just a minute or so. We are going to get an interview afterwards with Martin, get some of his comments on the game, but also get a comment on his on how he found the ice and how things are going for their teams. So just give us a few minutes. They'll be coming off the ice, and we'll do those interviews, and we'll be back to you in just a minute. All right, welcome back. We have Martin Rios, who's joining us here for a quick interview after his game. Martin, probably good to get your first game under the belt, and certainly good when you get a win.
Yeah, of course. First game this year, and it's always good to start off with a win.
So you've been practicing a little bit before. How are you finding the ice out there? Are you getting the curl you want? Are you getting the speeds you want?
Yeah, the ice is good. Probably the first end, the first rock you throw a certain direction is a little bit slower, but that's curling. The ice is the same for both teams, and the ice is great. Speed is great, curl is great, so I would come back to Banff to curl.
Say that again?
I would come back to Banff to curl.
Love it. Thank you very much. And that wasn't prompted. I want everyone to know that. So you and Jenny have been together for quite a while playing curling, mixed doubles. You've had quite a successful career, silver at the Olympics and world champions before. How are you doing this year? How are you feeling? Is the team playing well? What are some of the accomplishments you've had?
Well, I think we had a pretty okay season. We didn't make the finals just in 2 events. We played 6 events, and we missed the final at the first World Cup because the US team was better than us. And then in Sochi, it was a really close game in quarters, but the rest we played pretty good curling. We're still we still haven't found our A game yet, but we try to improve. Try to fix things, to improve as a team, to improve as individual players, and just try to give our best in every event we were playing.
Excellent. Well, I think it's a very strong field here, and probably one of the strongest that hopefully you'll face. I think we've attracted a good field. You are one of the favorites. You certainly are in our competition. Who else out there are you looking at? Who do you think are the other teams that are the ones that are going to be there in the finals when it comes down to it? We certainly believe you will be there, and I say that because we've watched you curl. But who else do you think are the teams to beat that you're going to be keeping an eye on?
Well, you know that there's a lot of good teams around. There's the players we're looking in TV, even in Europe and in Switzerland, like Peter Mengeland is for me one of the best mixed doubles team in the world. Then you have Maurice Laws and you have Jennifer Jones and Brent Lang. And you have so many good teams around. There's the Norwegian team who beat us in Omaha. There's the US team, Dropkin, Anderson. There's a lot of good teams, and I wouldn't say we are one of the favorites. We're here to try to play good curling and give our best, and in the end, so we try to win as many games as we can. But in the end, you need to play good curling to beat them. I think everybody's beatable, especially in mixed doubles, but you have to play good curling, so that's what we're trying.
One last question, Martin. I mean, what do you like most about mixed doubles as a discipline within curling? What's your favorite part about that versus playing either 4-person or playing the mixed game?
I think it's a little bit more aggressive. I think that the traditional curling is changing a little bit with 5-rock rule now, but in mixed doubles you're pretty much forced to play offensive curling, and there's no end you can be really off. If your opponent plays good, he will score big, and that's this aggressive style is one thing I like in mixed doubles. Then it's just to argue with one person out there, not the 3 others. No, it's a little different because I'm playing with a female, she's to play with a man. That's a little bit different, but in the end, it's curling. You got the sweep. It's fun. Aggressive style is fun.
I liked your comment that you only have to argue with one other person instead of 3. I don't see you and Jenny arguing very much. You seem to be on the same wavelength, and you seem to make quick decisions, and you're quick in the hack and quick to throw. Look, really appreciate you taking the time to speak with us. Wish you best of luck during this event, and hopefully have a chance to chat with you maybe once we get into the event a little more, and hopefully when you're still undefeated.
We'll give our best thanks for having us. It's great to be here, and we're looking for a great competition here. Thank you very much.
Good luck. Well, thank you, everyone. That'll conclude the 4:30 Draw 2 broadcast. We are moving over to Canmore now. Believe it or not, we're about to pack up, do the mad dash in the snow, but we've got the right tires for our vehicle. And we're committed to getting there. We want to make sure we show you the Canmore rink. We show you teams playing there. So hang with us. We'll try to get over there and be ready for 7 o'clock. And at 7 o'clock, the game we're going to be showing you is Tran Peterman. That's Lowell Peterman and Brittany Tran. They played earlier on sheet 4 in the first draw here. And they're playing against defending Olympic gold medalists Caitlin Laws and John Morris, their first game of the event. So I'm sorry, their second game of the event. So we'll be bringing that to you at 7 p.m. If it's a bit delayed, please bear with us because a bit of travel to get there. But thank you to everybody who has been listening. And if you have any comments, feel free to send them through and we'll try to answer those as we can. All the best. See you at 7 o'clock or slightly thereafter.